Hey everyone, my name is Connor Angle, and my persuasive speech topic is about the moral crisis behind climate change. The Earth is warming, ice is melting, and our conscience is cooling. Climate change isn't just about saving the planet, but about saving humanity. Like many people, I used to think climate change was only about recycling polar bears or melting glaciers, but now seeing the real impact on people in places like Puerto Rico and California, for instance, changed that for me. Climate change isn't just a scientific issue, it's about human choices, moral values, and how we treat one another. People all over the globe are losing homes, jobs, and health because of this crisis, and that means we all share a moral responsibility to respond to this. In the speech, I'm going to show that climate change is more than just an environmental issue, it's a moral one. I'll explain how climate change creates human suffering and injustice, then show how addressing it is a shared moral duty between individuals, corporations, and governments. Finally, I'll discuss how small ethical actions in our everyday lives can create real change. Okay, so how does climate change create human suffering and injustice? Climate change is already harming millions of people around the world today. According to Plus One, Bangladesh is at the forefront of this crisis, with entire communities facing rising sea levels, erosion, and stronger storms that destroy homes and endanger health. These threats also impact mental well-being as people experience anxiety, depression, and displacement. The Journal of Clinical Investigation reports that heat waves are becoming more frequent, severe, and deadly. This especially threatens children, the elderly, and those in low-income or marginalized communities who lack access to healthcare or cooling systems. And here's the moral injustice. The people suffering the most from climate change are often the ones who have contributed the least to it. The poorest populations face the worst consequences, even though wealthy nations and corporations are responsible for most greenhouse gas emissions. So, why is addressing climate change a moral responsibility shared by all of us, individually, by corporations, and governments alike? Well, climate change forces us to confront a deep ethical question. Who is responsible for preventing harm, and who must take action? According to science and engineering ethics, one major challenge is what scholars call a race to the bottom, where governments pre- basically lower environmental and labor standards to attract business. This ends up resulting in exploitation, deregulation, and worsening injustice. Meanwhile, the wealthy nations that benefited from decades of industrialization are now watching developing nations suffer the consequences. This imbalance shows the moral duty of fairness and equality, so those who cause the problem should help fix it. But moral responsibility doesn't stop governments or corporations. Every one of us makes daily choices on how we consume, vote, travel, and use energy, which can either cause harm or promote healing. Ethical action begins with awareness and accountability. Taking ethical action against climate change protects both people and the planet. When we see climate action as a moral choice, not just a political one, it changes everything. Small actions can make a difference, like cutting waste, conserving energy, or eating more sustainably can help reduce your carbon footprint. Supporting renewable energy, green businesses, and eco-friendly policies builds a culture of responsibility. And when we treat climate action as a matter of conscience, we shift the conversation from asking, should we act, to we must act because it's the right thing to do. How does climate change worsen global equality exactly? So, according to Plus One, inequality among nations and corporations affects how climate solutions are implemented. The poorest nations often lack the resources to adapt, making them disproportionately vulnerable. The Urban Forum reports that the urban poor in developing countries face the harshest climate impacts because they live in high risk environments and often lack access to basic social services. This reveals a deeper truth about climate change, that it's not just an environmental crisis, it's a justice issue. Those who contribute the least pay the price. Lastly, future generations will judge our moral choices from what they see today. Our responsibility doesn't end with the present. According to the Journal of Applied Philosophy, duties to future generations are a collective moral matter, meaning we share a responsibility to prevent harm before it happens. Policies that ignore climate change may not harm us immediately, but they create suffering for our children and grandchildren. Acting now isn't just about saving the environment, it's about integrity, compassion, and being accountable to those who will inherit the world after us when we are gone. As Ethics and the Environment notes, moral responsibility in climate action means recognizing that our choices today define the kind of world we leave behind. Today we've seen that climate change is more than an environmental crisis, but a moral one. It causes suffering, deepens inequality, and demands ethical responsibility from all of us. The fight against this crisis is also a fight for justice, compassion, and integrity. Every action, no matter how small, matters. We can all start by using less, wasting less, and speaking up more. Because in the end, the climate isn't the only thing changing. Our conscience should be too. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching.